Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Had not a terribly good productive month of July, mostly due to the just kids all over the place, and also just the drag of keeping kids occupied all through the summer months. As you can tell, I did get Eisenhorn all finished up, which he turned out pretty good, I think. You know, there's a lot of detail on him, and so even if you just do a moderately good job of picking out the detail, he turns out okay. Did notice as I started, forgot to do the buttons on his jacket, but you know, honestly, I can do that in 10-15 minutes, no problem. But yeah, he turned out a lot better than I had originally hoped, because the fine cast was irking me, and I think it just irked me more than it actually was bad. You know, it just bothered me more than it was not any good. But now I can use him in games with him, and I have two other Inquisitor models that I can use, or two other models I can use for Inquisitors, and I can use them and run 3 Inquisitors with about 1,750 points of I think it's right at 1,750 points of Sisters of Battle, and that's a good thematic list where, you know, some Inquisitors come and they draft the Emperor's finest lady warriors and go to town. Now, granted, it does unite Psychers with Sisters of Battle, and so there's some distrust there, especially when old Gregor calls his demon host. They're probably not going to like that too much. But anyway, they're bold and brave enough on their own without having to bother with Gregor's stuff. But you may have heard that they are in the planning process of making an Eisenhorn TV series. I'm very excited about that. Well, I am cautiously excited about that because the Hobbit burned me. Peter Jackson, though I liked his Lord of the Rings movies, and honestly I didn't mind Mortal Engines. The very end of it, I think they strayed too far from the original plot line, but overall I felt it did okay with the temper of the books. But my hopes for The Hobbit, which is my favorite fantasy book of all time, were dashed, and they were bent over a chair and roughly abused by Jackson and the Weta Workshop. I was not happy with that. But you can see my high-tech miniature holding thing here, baby food jar full of playground sand, and there's actually sticky wax underneath here to hold him down. But again, I'm cautiously excited. The guy who's doing it did The Man in the High Castle on Amazon, which I've never watched, mainly because I've read enough history to know how the world would have been if Nazis had won, and so I don't need to watch a whole TV series based on that idea. And you know, it's not going to be something that I will enjoy. And so I have avoided it. But starting from the point of, you know, the Nazis won, I think is really good for making an Imperium TV series, because then you can almost you can step it up and make it a little more grim and a little more dark than Nazis ruling the world, and get right into the Imperium of mankind. But there's Gregor. I did get him finished. Again, you can see with the fine cast. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Right here, his boot. You can see the split. And it wasn't, you know, I patched it up, I covered it with putty, I had primed it and painted it with the original leather brown, and then when I put the wash on, it really highlighted that split that was underneath all that putty, and by that point I was like, yeah, I'm not going to fix that. So, that stupid fine cast, can't you make Gregor Eisenhorn a clamshell plastic? Anyway, but I'll show you what else I got done. I did finish the 6 servitors here, and I did go with the backpacks on them. So they turned out really well, and the backpacks, they did add a lot of good detail to them and make them look a little more complete. I do need to go back and do these plasma coils here. I went for the blue plasma effect on them, and that looks okay. I am not good at all with that, and need to go back and drill the rest of those barrels out. I need to drill out with a slightly larger drill than 1mm or 0.5 millimeter, whatever that is. Probably wouldn't hurt to go in with black paint and fill in that, just to make it look dark, or blue paint. But again, yeah, these are all magnetized. They fit in pretty well, and you know, overall they turned out menacing. I still have some detail I can do on the face, like the lenses, and let's see, which ones are they. Like this guy has a spool of wires coming out of his sinus cavity. Let's see if we can get that to focus, and that should be multicolored, like the wires on his chest, or like the wires under here, or the wires that go into the engine block. That should have some sort of multicolor wires on them. And at that point I was like, I'm done picking out detail. But yeah, those guys worked out pretty well. And this thing here is perfect to carry them for the A case. This I am more and more glad that I bought that for the Mechanicum, because there's so many fiddly bits. Like this guy, you know, magnet him on there, they're not going to come off. You know, they're pretty, there we go, they're sturdily held on. I mean, they're not going to survive a car wreck, but definitely if you drop them, they're not going to bounce off, and nothing is going to smush down on top of them. You know, this guy too, he's got that, all those fiddly bits that in a foam case would get caught on stuff and get smushed around and everything, and instead, here we go, you know, they're, you know, pretty well. Oh, there, that guy goes off, he says. But again, yeah, not too bad. Why no U stick? Yeah, there's some glue on the thing. But yeah, those 6 plus Eisenhorn, that's all I got painted for the month. I did get started on some other things, like the Electro Priests. I got their base coats on and their bases done, and now just need to do the top portions. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get these guys into put them in foam or not. I may put more magnets on the bottom of these guys and put them in the other part of the A case. I know the guys with the transonic razors, I can't remember the names of that group, but the other fast attack or infiltrators, not fast attack, elite choices, I'll probably magnetize them, because they have so many delicate fiddly bits that that really needs to be done. But yeah, these guys are on their way to being finished. I haven't really decided how I'm going to paint this, but we'll figure out something to do. Probably maybe brown and yellow. Just keep it brown, leather brown, like a brown tabard with bright yellow or even white on top of that. But anyway, I have made a couple purchases, and I've made a decision to do a new model next. So I will pause the video and I will show you what I have decided to work on. So I'll be back in just a second. Alright, I was going to try to get everything over in front of the computer where I had everything set up, but this stuff's too big, so we won't be doing that. This is the next model I'm going to build and paint. It is Lady Strife from Creature Caster. It's the first kind of lootish model that I'm going to ever build. But the sculpt was just really cool, and she looked pretty menacing. Plus, it gives a chance for my wife to make fun of me for miniature building again. But I'm building it mostly as a challenge, because there's so much flesh is a hard thing for me to do, and there's so much flesh on this that it will be an interesting challenge to do. Plus, working with resin, which is she has two different heads, which is going to be my next really big build that I'm going to do. I'm going to be working a lot with resin, which I will show you that right now. If you look over here, this is my next purchase that I made. It came today in the mail, and it is from Randall Cooper, who makes high quality resin Star Wars kits. This is the Ghost from the Star Wars Rebels. If you look, those are huge pieces. I mean, this is a 1/96 scale kit, and it's, I don't want to take the stuff out of the bubble wrap, because I can tell there's a couple pieces that have already lost a little bit of detail just in the shipping process, and he shipped it really carefully. But I mean, look, Look at all the resin bits. And so I'm going to have to wash and care for that. See, there's the hatch. Wash and rinse and get everything ready and prepped. And he even, you know, he makes these at his place. He makes the original sculpts and then makes the models. He even did his own vacuum form plastics for the canopies. There's the canopy there for the ghost, and it's in this one. No, it's in that another one that they broke. But you can see all the stuff for the interior of the cabin, even rails in resin. So this is well beyond anything that I have ever built in complexity. It was a pretty expensive kit, but he was running a sale, and so I got 50 bucks off, and it was still pretty expensive, even 50 bucks off. But definitely going to work on this one. Let's pause this and pull some stuff out so you can see something a little bit out of plastic. Hold on a second. All right, so these are the two top parts of the ghost. There'll be a central thing in here, and you, again, if you've watched the show, you can see how big the model will end up being. You know, here's my open hand. This will be about 20 inches long, 18, 20 inches long, something like that, all told. It's going to take a lot of gluing, a lot of pinning, probably. Definitely, I'm really tempted to try lighting it because here, these recesses here would be great for hiding wires and stuff and drilling through the resin to get it done. But I've never really done any lighting at all, so that would, you know, that's a barrier I'll need to overcome. I do have right up there. You can see 1/48 X-wing with a lighting kit, so I may build that, practice soldering up and doing stuff, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. But again, I'm excited to build this. I'm a little nervous to build this, but you know, I'm not going for any competition win with this thing. I'm just going to build it for myself, and so if I don't build it perfect, it's all right. If I try something new, oh, you can hear the fire alarms going off down there. The little girl's upset about something. If I don't build it perfect, but if I build it and I'm happy with it, that's all that matters. If I learn something new, learn that I shouldn't try stuff anymore, or learn that I can do stuff with a little bit of practice. That's what it's for. Hard lesson, expensive lesson, but I'll be doing it. Alright, well, it sounds like I need to go down and help Mama with the baby. So, hope you guys are having a good day. Hope you guys are having a good August. And I will talk at you later. Adios. That was a shake.